Here today, we got 5 of the best meta ARs after Season 1 Reloaded update that will be amazing in Warzone and multiplayer. Starting off today, we are going to be making 5 of the best meta ARs in the game with both 5 attachments and 8 attachment builds. So buckle up because it's going to be a lot. Starting out with the first attachment, we are going to be throwing on an optic, and it is going to be the Merlin Mini for multiplayer. If you are a Warzone player, I also have a choice for you as well. That is the go-to all the time. It's going to be the Willis 3X. The Willis 3X is amazing on long-range maps and multiplayer as well as Warzone. This is going to be a fan favorite, so just know going forward on these class setups, if you are looking for Warzone builds, make sure to throw this attachment on instead of the Merlin Mini that I'm using in multiplayer. Second attachment we're going to be working on here today is some recoil stuff. It is going to be on the muzzle. We have on today the compensator. Compensator is all around just one of my favorite attachments, and this is a universal attachment between Warzone and multiplayer because of that vertical recoil control you get out of it. For whatever reason, I can't actually show the detailed stats. The third attachment here today on our XM4 is going to be the reinforced barrel. The reinforced barrel is one of my favorite because it is a combination of long barrel and gain twist barrel, as it does give you 2 different stats of both of those. You're going to get damage range and bullet velocity. But once again, I can't actually show you how much percentage you're gaining, but since I've done this so much, I do remember that bullet velocity is usually around 25% gained, which is making it an easier time for you to hit your enemy. And then obviously the damage range is going to give you more meters before your bullets start dropping off. Really good for Warzone and long range maps. So I actually just figured it out. The way to see the detailed stats, to see what kind of percentages you're gaining, you're going to have to do it on this screen right here instead of the specific attachment screen. So now, so far with the build, just because we haven't been showing it, we have 20% bullet velocity, 31% recoil gun kick, and 35% vertical recoil so far. Next attachment we're going to be throwing on here is the vertical foregrip. The vertical foregrip is all around an amazing recoil control attachment, and this is going to be helping the horizontal side of things instead. So now if we look at this, we have an extra 40% to the recoil control on horizontal. The fifth attachment here today is going to be the recoil springs. If you are playing Warzone, this is the one I would go with, but in my gameplays, I do use rapid fire because I play in close quarter maps or even mid-range maps, and this thing just absolutely deletes the enemy competition. But in Warzone, it's probably going to get you killed because the recoil is going to be a little crazier. Obviously, I would recommend the recoil springs instead and set with the Willis 3X. It's going to be an absolute beam. So now in all, with all these recoil control attachments, you are going to gain nearly 50% across the board on your accuracy. It's going to help out so much making this a beam. You're going to be getting 45% recoil gun kick, 49% horizontal, and 45% with this 5 attachment build. Of course, there are different perk sets that you can go with. I have 3 different choices. The first one is going to be my multiplayer set with perk greed. Gunfighter is the same. I just don't have the 4th perk on. And then obviously Warzone is going to be this set of perks right here. But now I'm going to put back on rapid fire, and we're going to get into the 6th attachment. Our 6th attachment with gunfighter on, because we are going to be putting the extra 3 attachments on. We have on extended mags 2, because combined with rapid fire, your gun is going to be shooting incredibly fast. Extended mags 2 is going to be very crazy, even extended mags 3. But these are attachments I also highly recommend in Warzone because you have to shoot through people's plates. If you are having trouble with that 5 attachment build, definitely throw on an extended mags in replacement of one of those attachments, or just make sure to put on gunfighter because this is very important. And I had the extended mags 2 on today, which gives you 60 rounds in the mag. Of course, this is going to make your gun a bit heavier, of losing some aim down sight speed, reload quickness, and sprint to fire speed. We look in the stats there, you are going to lose your reload speed, 8% aim down sight speed, and 11% sprint to fire speed. Our next attachment here is going to be the rear grip, and the one that we have on today is the commando grip. The commando grip is going to give back what you just lost from the extended mags on aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. So now if we look at the stats and handling, you are gaining back. You have 8% aim down sight speed and 11% sprint to fire speed. I was able to figure out how to have the stats on the background while I'm looking at the attachment. So here today we are using the stock for our final attachment. Is going to be the combat stock, and this does give you a little boost to your accuracy. It doesn't show any actual percent gains, but no, it's helping the recoil control out a little bit. But you're also gaining 11% in walking movement speed. And to show the XM4 build in the firing range, to show you how it looks, it is going to instantly delete the enemy. The recoil control is really not that bad, and even on the 50 range, rapid fire is very easy to control. Our second weapon here, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the AK-74. This one is a pretty high damage weapon. It is very powerful, and again, same thing, I use the Merlin Mini in multiplayer, and then of course you can throw on the Willis 3X for Warzone. Second attachment here today, once again, is going to be the compensator. The compensator here is going to give 24% recoil gun kick and 25% vertical recoil control. Very solid attachment. Next on our list is going to be a barrel. It will be the reinforced barrel. Again, best of both worlds of the first 2 attachments there. This is going to give you good range and 20% bullet velocity on top of that. It's going to be very good for those long range and Warzone maps. For our grip today, we're not actually using the vertical foregrip. We have on the Ranger foregrip. The Ranger foregrip is going to be a little less on the horizontal horizontal recoil, but this does give you 6% sprinting movement speed. It is very helpful in some gunfights, but even the 13% horizontal recoil control is going to be good as well. So if you only use 5 attachments, you could go without using the recoil springs and put on an extended mags instead. I just want to clarify on that. If you are having trouble with the reloading, if you're playing Warzone, throw on extended mags instead. Recoil springs doesn't help a crazy amount. It's just that little bit of extra boost to make it a beam. Because as you see, this one gives you 5% across the board, which isn't a whole lot, but it is helpful of recoil, gun kick, horizontal, and vertical recoil. But moving forward, if you are going to keep on recoil springs, our 6th attachment with the gunfighter attached is going to be extended mags 2 once again, and this one is going to give you 50 rounds in the mag. And of course, as you know, the bigger the mag, the slower the reload is going to be. You are also going to lose 7% aim down sight speed and 10% sprint to fire speed. This attachment today we have on the assault grip for the rear grip, and instead of putting on commando grip, we have this on because this does give you a crazy amount of sprint to fire speed of 36%. This is pretty helpful of getting that first shot off if you're already in a running position. Our final attachment on the AK-74 is going to be the balance stock. The balance stock here is going to give you a lot of mobility stuff. You're going to get 9% movement speed, 14% crouch movement speed, and 8% aim walking movement speed. Very helpful for getting around the map a little quicker, as well as when you're aiming down your sights. So now to show it off in the fire range, you see the ADS is decent, not the craziest out of some of these weapons, and that recoil control is going to be super easy. It is going to be super easy to control on the 10, 25, and the 50 meter. I think I just accidentally took out the 100 meter in the background too, so there's that as well. Starting out with the AMES 85 here today, we actually have a different scope on because it's kind of like a ranked play build. You could also use it for Warzone, you can use it for multiplayer. It's good for everything if you're going to be using the 5 attachment build, which is going to be the acute, spot, or reflex. And this is the one I actually recommend because it feels super clean. Of course, if you're going to use this in Warzone, again, you can use the Willis 3X. Second attachment here today, no surprise, is going to be the compensator once again. And this is going to gain 29% recoil gun kick and 30% vertical recoil control. Our third attachment here today is going to be the vertical foregrip. Once again, the vertical foregrip is helping out the horizontal side of things. You are going to gain a huge 35% to that, as well as 2% recoil gun kick. The next attachment here today is going to be a rear grip. Today we put on the ergonomic grip. The ergonomic grip is going to gain you 17% aim down sight speed and 50% slide to fire speed. Very nice for movement. Going to be good for ranked play, good for close quarters, all that great stuff. For our fifth attachment here, we do have the recoil springs on. The recoil springs on this weapon actually gives a little bit of an extra boost compared to the last weapon. You're going to get 7% across the board of recoil, gun kick, horizontal recoil, and vertical recoil. But once again, if this is not very helpful to you and you want to put extended mags on because you constantly have to reload, you can do that instead. But again, that doesn't even matter if you are going to be going for the gunfighter build. So we are on the gunfighter side of things of adding the 3 extra attachments, and we're once again going to put on extended mags 2. Extended mags 2 does give you 60 rounds in the mag, so very, very helpful. And of course, your reload's going to go down. You're going to lose 9% aim down sight speed and 11% sprint to fire speed. For the barrel, we're actually not using reinforced barrel on this build. We have the gain twist barrel. The gain twist barrel is just going to give you an extra 10% bullet velocity over the reinforced barrel. So if you still want to use the reinforced, you can. That bit of extra range, but this is going to make the gun very easy to use on hitting the enemy in their general direction. And then finally here for our stock, we do have on the balance stock. The balance stock is going to give you a number of things in mobility, 10% movement speed, 16% crouch movement speed, and 9% aim walking movement speed. This is a very good addition to the weapon. Now, if we show it off in the fire range, you can see the ADS is great. Recoil control going to be super easy to control on all 10, 25, and 50 meters. Even the 100 meter can probably go down pretty easily as well too. This gun has an absolute beam. Pair this thing up with the Willis 3X optic and you're going to have a crazy time. Starting off with the Model L, one of my favorite assault rifles in the game is going to be, of course, the Merlin Mini, or once again, Willis 3X. The second attachment is going to be the compensator. I think I have the compensator on every single one of these weapons. I just absolutely love the compensator. And the compensator is going to give you 35% recoil gun kick and 35% vertical recoil control. So this is kind of the highest percentage of stats yet with the compensator. Next, we do have the reinforced barrel on for this gun, and it is going to give you 25% bullet velocity, as well as that extra damage range if playing long range or Warzone. Fourth attachment is going to be the vertical foregrip. The vertical foregrip, absolutely amazing for the horizontal side of things. This is going to gain you that 40% on the horizontal, making this gun super easy to use. Fifth attachment is going to be the fire mod recoil springs, and the recoil springs on this one is actually very helpful. Again, your stats are really high on this one. You're going to gain 10% across the board with recoil springs of recoil gun kick, horizontal recoil, and vertical recoil. As I've repeated many times, if you don't need this, go ahead and throw on the extended mags if you're having trouble with a lot of reloading. Moving over to the gunfighter side of things, adding the extra 3 attachments, you can keep on recoil springs, of course. Throw on the extended mags too. You're going going to get 50 rounds out of this, but at the cost of that, you are going to have a slower reload, 7% aim down sight speed, and 11% sprint to fire speed loss. The rear grip here today that we were using is going to be the commando grip. The commando grip is going to bring back once again that aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed, 16% and 21%. Finally, here for the stock, we do have the balanced stock on. The balanced stock is going to help out the mobility side of things. You're going to gain 11% movement speed, 17% crouch movement speed, and 10% aim walking movement speed. We show this weapon in the fire range. The ADS is very fast. The recoil control is going to be super easy. The damage is amazing. You can beam 10, 25, 50, and even that 100 meter. This is such a solid laser of a weapon. Our final weapon here today is the GPR 91. Starting out with the Merlin Mini. Once again, I put this on literally all my weapons, or the Willis 3X. Second attachment, once again, is going to be the compensator. The compensator on this one is going to gain you 34% recoil gun kick and 35% vertical recoil control, helping control this weapon much better. Third attachment today is going to be the underbarrel we have on the Ranger foregrip. Ranger foregrip, once again, is going to give you 16% horizontal recoil control, but along with that, you are going to gain 7% on sprinting movement speed. Next here, we do move over to the stock. We are going to have the balanced stock on. Balanced stock, once again, helps out the mobility side of things, 14% movement speed, 20% crouch movement speed, and 13% aim walking movement speed. Fifth attachment here is going to be recoil springs. Recoil springs on this weapon as well does give you quite a high number of 10% across the board of recoil gun kick, horizontal, and vertical recoil. Moving over to the gunfighter side of things, adding the extra 3 attachments, our barrel here is going to be the gain twist barrel. We were using the gain twist barrel. This does give you 40% bullet velocity. You could even use the reinforced barrel, but it cuts the bullet velocity in half, making the gun a little bit harder to use over the gain twist, but it is absolutely amazing either way. Today, the magazine that we threw on is the extended mags 2. This is kind of the sweet spot for all of these weapons, especially in Warzone. The 60 round mag on this is pretty crazy, but again, it makes your gun heavier. You're going to lose quite a bit of reload, 9% aim down sight speed, 13% sprint to fire speed. And then finally, we are here with the final attachment on our final weapon, the rear grip. And it is going to be, once again, the commando grip. The commando grip out here helping bring back that 12% aim down sight speed and 25% sprint to fire speed. I find this to be a pretty underrated weapon. It feels really, really good. The recoil control is amazing. The 50 meter and even the 100 meter could go down, but it's going to take a little bit of effort. I think this thing has really, really good damage range. This may not be really good up close compared to other weapons, but at a very far range, this thing can absolutely beam the enemy competition. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, these are my top 5 meta AR weapons in the game. If you want to see me do other class types like also machine guns, different LMG types, anything like that, let me know down below in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.